Today's lesson is about the multiplication principle. There are only 2 vocabulary words. Let's go over them. First, we have a tree diagram. Tree diagram is a diagram that uses branches to show all the possible choices and outcomes for given events. Second, we have the multiplication principle, which is a method of counting the number of possible ways that 2 or more events can occur together. We're going to use a tree diagram in our first example. Here we have an example of a situation that we probably encounter in our own lives. Picking out what to wear. In this situation, you have shorts, jeans, and khakis. You have a sweatshirt, a t-shirt, and a tank top. And you have 2 hoodies, a blue one and a green one. And what we need to find out is how many different outfits you can make given these articles of clothing. And as I said, we are going to use a tree diagram. Now, when you first look at it, a tree diagram might look very complicated and confusing, but it's actually pretty organized and very methodical. When you make your tree diagram, start by using the names of the groups from which we are going to choose our items. In this scenario, we have our bottoms, our shorts, our jeans, and our khakis. I abbreviated it just to make it easier. We have our tops, and we have our hoodies. And in our last column, it's really our final answer. Each lists a different outfit that we can make. Let's look at the first one. With our shorts, we can choose to wear a sweater and the blue hoodie. Or, with our shorts, we can still wear a sweater, but instead choose the green hoodie. Or if we didn't want to wear a sweater, we can wear our shorts with a t-shirt and either a blue hoodie or a green hoodie. Or we can wear a tank top with our shorts and either a blue hoodie or a green one. And then you do the same thing for your jeans. With your jeans, you can wear a sweater with a blue hoodie or a green one. Or you'll draw your line connecting your jeans to your t-shirt, and then from your t-shirt you'll wear either a blue hoodie or a green one. And then you do combinations with your tank top and your jeans. And then you do the same thing with your khakis. And what you do after you pair everything up is you will find out that you have 18 different outfits that you can make with just these few articles of clothing. Not bad, huh? Now, before we get started with our second example, I want to go over the multiplication principle. Multiplication principle. If one event can occur in m number of ways, and for each of these ways a second event can occur n ways, then the number of ways the 2 events can occur is m times n. What we have here is the same idea as the tree diagram, just a much easier way to solve. The tree diagram is an illustration of the multiplication principle. Let's look at our second example. When you order a pizza, you can choose from 2 types of sauces, 3 kinds of cheeses, and 8 toppings. If you choose 1 from each, how many different pizzas are possible? Well, the multiplication principle talks about events. We are choosing sauces. There are 2 types of sauces, 3 types of cheese, and 8 additional toppings beyond that. So here's what we do. We multiply 2 times 3 times 8, and that gives us 48 different possible pizzas that we can order. We have one last example. And this example combines what you already know about probability with what you just learned about the multiplication principle. Here we have a spinner. Here's our situation. You're going to spin the spinner 3 times. What is the probability that you will first get a 1, then a 2, and then finally a 3 or a 4? And what we have to do, here's a note, you need to write this down, consider each event individually. Well, what does that mean? Well, the first parameter of this problem is that we have to figure out the odds, or the probability of getting a 1 on our first spin. And you remember that when we are working with theoretical probability, our formula is to set up a fraction with our favorable outcomes over possibilities. There's only one 1 on the spinner out of the 4 possible numbers where it can land. For our second spin, the probability of getting a 2 is the same as getting a 1. There's only 1 2 on the spinner of the 4 numbers that are there. And let's take a look at our third parameter. Getting a 3 or a 4. Well, there's one of each of those numbers on our spinner. So our probability increases to 2 of the 4. Remember, you always simplify your fractions, so that gives us a probability of 1 in 2 of landing on a 3 or a 4. Now what we have to do is work in our multiplication principle. And you remember we take our different numbers and we multiply them. It doesn't matter that these are fractions. The method stays the same. We have 1/4, that's our probability of our first spin. We have 1 in 4 probability for our second spin. And our third spin is 1 in 2. And when we multiply that, we get 1 in 32. So the probability of this happening is 1 to 32. It's kind of a long shot.